There is a moment in every life when you decide to rise, to stand taller than your fear, to speak louder than your doubt, to chase the vision that sets your soul on fire. This is that moment. And here, we walk it together with stories that awaken, voices that inspire, and truths that set you free. This is Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where hope has a voice, and that voice is yours. And welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Kevin, but you know that. And if you didn't know that, you do now. And Prechelle's with us. Prechelle, how are you today, dear?
I'm doing well. As you said earlier, I'm living on cloud nine right now. So I'm going to soak that up and tell myself the same thing. And we have an amazing guest with us back here today. I don't think since I started with you, Kevin, after 2 years, we haven't had a reoccurring guest that was so powerful in the same week. So I'd love to welcome back Tracy Smaldino. And she has the, remind me, Trauma Life. Trauma Rock Stars.
Trauma Rock Stars.
There we go. So welcome back, Tracy. How are you today?
I'm good, you guys.
Very good.
It is really exciting for us to have you back because we weren't done with you last time. We had more to do.
Yes.
I had a feeling. and you've had time to marinate that. So I don't know if it's a level playing field, but I'm ready to play.
Well, but you are very talented at what you do, and you've been through life, and life has dealt you some things, and you've gotten through them, and now you're helping other people learn how to be a trauma rock star.
That's right.
Tell us. On that note, I have to say, Kevin, I know I told you last time, Tracy, I was prepared with a few questions, and last time we touched hugely on the work you're doing through trauma, your experiences, some of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the show, you sparked this spirituality, intuition type of thing that came to the surface. So I really want to dig deep on that. But to start the show out, I really want to ask you, based off the way we ended the last show, is I don't think I've ever asked somebody this because I don't know myself, but how does different trauma manifest itself into different people and affect them, or does all trauma affect people pretty similarly?
You know, again, I think we said the first episode, not one size fits all. And everybody reacts differently. Certain people deal like something that might have traumatized me, might not have had the same effect on somebody else. So it doesn't mean it's less trauma. It's just certain people, I think certain people have more tools than others. And so maybe they were brought up with tools, or maybe, they got more education and they deal with it. Like with me, it's all been from educating myself because I had zero tools. So, I mean, to say zero, I really mean zero. And I had no idea. I think I told you, like, before I started dealing with my journey 5 years ago, I didn't even know who the heck I was as a person, what my purpose was, how to deal with feelings I had. And when knowledge is power. So as I'm educating and I realize like what trauma and life just in general does to our nervous systems and how, our bodies, it just tightens up and you don't even realize it. Now that I'm aware of that, it's so much easier for me to identify what's going on and what I'm feeling. And it's hard. I mean, it takes a lot of work and it's constant work. I don't know anybody that's a perfectionist at it because we have life. And like Kevin mentioned, we're humans. So I think the biggest thing with that is just education and giving yourself, because, I'm constantly reading and sometimes I'm reading so fast, like I need to slow, not that I'm a fast reader. I'm just reading so many different things because we're getting so much information from different sources. And sometimes I just need to slow down and really, really marinate like what I'm reading and really let it sink in and take some time to think about it because, I'm in the process of trying to finish 4 books right now. And it's just, it seems like this is an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
You're a little aggressive, don't you think? And,
I mean, that's what I mean. I have to slow down because I'm getting so much great information. I'm the kind of person, I know there's ebooks and everything, but I like to have a book, and I like to highlight and write notes and tab things and go back and reference them. And so I think the more I just keep reading it, things will sink in. So I'm trying to take these different things that I'm learning that really resonate with me, because some things aren't going to resonate with everybody, but I'm trying to take bits and pieces of everything I've learned over the past 5 years and just keep getting deeper. Like one thing that I mentioned, there's the meditation, but one thing I'm really trying to do now with my meditation journey is learn to get deeper with shadow work. And shadow work is, if you don't really have much experience with it, it's when you take your meditation practice and you really dig deep into who you are and kind of, I guess, the yucky side of us, that we all have bad sides, and like the yucky side of us, and really dig deep into why that appears, like why that person appears and stuff. So I'm really, because after I told you the last episode, after I did the MDMA, I'm ready to I'm actually thinking about doing another session either this month or next month, because I did it in May and it's been 6 months and I'm ready to get deeper into that subconscious. So now that after going through the MDMA therapy, it's almost like you see a light and you see things so differently, like you see the world so differently. And it's so funny because, and I don't mean this in a mean or negative way, but now that I've gone through this, when I'm out and about, I always felt my intuition and instincts with people were strong. But now after going through that experience and getting deeper with my medication journaling, I can look at a person and say, oh, you've done zero work. Yes. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that. I'm not saying that to be mean, because we all have to start somewhere. But, when you're out, you meet people, you're doing whatever, I can spot a person a mile away just by their body language, the way they're acting. And it's not that they're having a bad day. When you talk to people, you can just tell, oh, you've done zero work, and that's okay. But I never would have been able to identify that before. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Absolutely. And can I share?
Please do.
Please.
Because of the show that we did last time, I was thinking about trauma, and I've always believed, because I'm an inherently a positive person, that the trauma that I've experienced is fleeting and it goes, and I don't think about it again. Well, let me tell you a story.
You got triggered.
When I was 11 years old, and we had a great big apricot tree in the backyard, and my brother had put up a ladder and with a rope hanging from one of the branches and a loop at the end of the rope. And I had just seen, this goes way back, I had just seen a trailer for Hang 'em High, a Clint Eastwood movie. And so, me being a 10-year-old, I pretended that I was going to the gallows. So I climbed up the ladder and put my head through the noose, and my brother pulled the ladder away. And I spent, and so fortunately he didn't kill me, and and stuff, obviously, because I'm here. But then, and so I always asked him, I always wanted to know, what was going through your mind when you pulled the ladder away? What was your motivation? Why did that happen? And he never answered me. Well, fast forward to when he was 64 and I was 62 and a half, and he was diagnosed with terminal cancer. And so I wanted to know, before he passed, what was going through his mind so many years ago. And I actually got triggered because of it, because it was like, I want to know. What was this all about? Why did you do that to me? And stuff. And I had never thought about it in that way before, because now it was going to be final. Now if he wasn't willing to open up and talk about it now, he never would. And so he would pass, and ultimately he did pass, and he never told me. And I was thinking about it because I was having the conversations with my sister and others, and it was like, why did that trigger me? But it was 60 years later that triggered me. So it can happen to anybody at any time is the point that I'm making. Has that been your experience?
Yes. And things can come up, like, I've had multiple traumas in my life, and things can come up that you think you're working on these things that you're dealing with. And then you're like, oh crap. But now there's this thing showing itself to me. And it's like, who the hell are you? Go. But you never know. It could be like for me, how like when I work in healthcare, so I've been in many hospitals, but there's that, if you go to a surgery center and there's just that smell of like anesthesia.
Oh yeah.
That I don't know if it's the actual anesthesia or just all the chemicals, but that is very triggering for me. Because I've had probably, I don't know, 15 to 20 surgeries just, from my car accident. And so that smell is like still to this day, very, very triggering. So you never know. It could be a song. Sometimes I hear certain songs and things will come out of nowhere. Like you said, you're having a conversation. All of a sudden you think about what happened when you were 11 with your brother. So, be prepared, because like as you start doing work, certain things might come out and you might not get all the answers. You might not. You just need to figure out a way to, I like to go, head on with things. So, but yeah, I mean, and I'm thinking more things might come up, in the future. I was talking to somebody that's going to be on the podcast the other day, and she grew up near me. Actually, we didn't know each other at all. Like, this was my first conversation with her. we grew up like right around the corner from each other, and I didn't know her. And we were talking about something, and it was very, very triggering. And when I got off, I was like, I can't. It was a good thing I was sitting down when I was talking to her, because we were talking about something very personal, and it was a trigger. And I'm like, why am I still getting triggered? This was 2 days ago. And, things just happen. Life happens. And when that happens, just don't beat yourself up about it. Just try. And I think that's when you got to look at, okay, how am I feeling? Where is it affecting me in my nervous system? Am I getting tense? Am I, what's going on? And what is being able to, when you do this work, you can actually identify that specific feeling you're having and put a definition to it, and then almost like close the book on it, on why, And so now, like, I just feel like I'm ready for whatever comes at this point. And that's why I want to do another MDMA session, because it was such a beautiful experience. And I've got such clarity on life and people, like people in general, myself as well as other people, that I just want to see what else comes out now, how much deeper I can get with it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a grand experiment. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kevin. And sorry, I'm thinking too, like, Tracy, is there certain things you tell yourself in those moments? For me, it's a lot of things coming up that I don't even remember. So it's like, was this real? Did it not happen? I can't connect the dots. But of course, approaching it with love. But is there maybe certain things that you do in those moments, and certain questions that you ask yourself, or a time frame you'll give yourself to kind of work through that? So if somebody listening has those moments happen throughout their day, they know what to do.
Well, I try and write it down, and I don't try. And Kevin, when we were talking last time, you mentioned about asking yourself a question. I loved that. And I want to actually talk a little bit more about that in this episode with you, because we didn't really get to talk much about that. But like, I think writing it down, I don't know if you do that, Rochelle, but take the pressure off. Like if you just write it down, you can come back to it. You don't have to figure it all out now.
Yeah.
And I think that's been the most helpful, is because I'm really hard on myself. I always have been. I'm super, super hard on myself. I don't ask for help. I don't want to depend on anybody. I'm very independent, and I've had to learn that I do need to lean on people, and I need to like not be so hard on myself either. So if something like that comes up, I write it down. And if I can't finish it, or I can't really put a name to it or identify what's going on, I allow myself the permission to come back. It's okay. This is my journey, and it's on my terms. Like, there's no time frame for any of this. So,
and you're learning to give yourself grace.
100%.
And not take it like it's a life and death thing, because it's not. And
Right.
But at the same time, we need to take our break here, but we're having a great conversation with you, and I really want to get into how you write stuff down and the meaning of it and all of that. I think that's really an important point that everybody, and journaling is a major issue, a major thing that people can do to help themselves. And I know Michelle does a little bit of that, and I do it in my writing and stuff. So in any event, we're talking with Tracy
Smaldino, and you can find her on the social media platforms at Trauma Rockstars. And we'll be right back to dig deeper.
Yes, indeed. And this is about integrity, which I think we could use a little bit more of in our world today. Here's another point to ponder from Positive Talk Radio. What is the easiest thing to justify? It is a small transgression. The one no one will ever see, no one will ever know. The tiny exaggeration on the expense report. The extra minute you took on your lunch break. The packaging you tossed in the wrong recycle bin because it was closer. In those moments, the question isn't, will I get caught? The question is, will I know? It isn't about avoiding punishment. It's a silent agreement you make with yourself when you choose to do the right thing. To return the wallet. To fix the mistake. To respect the empty space. You aren't impressing the world. You're earning your own respect. That small choice, made entirely in private, is how you build a life you never have to look away from. The only audience that matters is you. And welcome back to Positive Talk. We're talking with Tracy
Smaldino.
I apologize, Tracy. I'm just lame that way. But it is great to talk to you today, because we're talking about, to recap, we're talking about trauma. She's got a website, which is traumarockstars.com.
Podcast.
Or podcast.
Yeah.
And you talk about trauma, and you help people get through it, because, like in my experience, it had been gone for a long time, and I talked about it a lot, but I framed it from the standpoint of a joke, that it was funny, but then it became final, and it ceased to be funny. And then I had to analyze why I felt that way after so many years. And I think that happens to a lot of us, doesn't it?
For sure. And I think too, for me, like being able, like learning how to journal, because I feel like for me, I had to learn how to do it. I didn't know, and there's no right or wrong way. I just needed to learn the technique for me to write down these triggers that are happening and things like that. And so that has been really instrumental for me with doing that, because I was saying before, there's people that use digital journals and stuff, and that's good, but there's something about writing it on a piece of paper that gets it off. It's like you release it from your brain. So that's been really, really important in my journey. And I'm not great at it. I don't journal every single day. And then I give myself crap about it. I'm like, damn it, I didn't journal today. And I'm like, why am I giving myself, I can do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's another day. But this is a part where I'm telling you, I'm so hard on myself, and I'm learning to give myself that grace, like you mentioned, Kevin, because if it's not a big deal if I don't do it every day. What's big for me is those key moments that I don't need to just be writing, oh, it's 75 and sunny and beautiful down here in Florida today. That's not what my journal's for. So for the key moments that I need it's in there.
I wanted to ask you, because I've heard this said a lot, is that if you have a trauma that you have experienced, or you have a relationship that has gone negative, or something, you write it all down, you write your feelings for it all, and you put it all on paper, and then you take it to the fireplace and you burn it.
Yeah.
Is that something that it makes sense?
To me, that I don't have a fireplace or a fire pit, but I've heard that as well. And I love it. I love that idea. And I wish I could do that. And I think that's a great idea, because like you're giving it back to the universe. Goodbye. And yep. you're truly, even if you write it down and you take the paper and you rip it in a million pieces and throw it in the recycle bin, you know what I mean? You're just giving it back to the universe. So if I had a fireplace or a fire pit, I would be doing that. I'd be all over that, because I love that idea. And it's almost like you can make it almost ceremonial.
Yeah. It becomes the final piece that you've experienced it. Now you've written about it. Now you remember it. And now you're going to burn it and give it to the universe, and it's gone.
Yep. Goodbye. And it's the final farewell.
It is. Tracy,
that's cool.
Have you ever worked through these things? Let's say you wrote something down, you burned the page, in its metaphor, you did that, you got it out, you let it go. How do you handle when it keeps coming back? Because a lot of people say, oh, well, I already dealt with that. I don't know why it keeps coming back.
Again, I don't have all the answers. I could just say, for me, I would reflect back on that a little bit. And again, I would be like, okay, go back into life is a mirror of, what we're putting out there, our energy we're putting out there. Not always. I mean, it's not with 100% of everything in life, but the majority, it's a mirror of our energy and our thoughts and our subconscious. And, you can walk around and be this bubbly, happy person, but if deep down you're faking it, the energy is going to come back to you. You can't fake energy, and so that's where I would reflect more on, okay, what am I doing? And that's actually happened to me. Like when I kept attracting the same partners or same friendships or tolerating crap from friends and family that I never knew why I would put up, the boundaries and things like that. So that has happened to me numerous times over the years. And that's where I was telling you before that now I understand why I was with those partners or I was in those friendships now. Because it makes total sense. I was a mess. Yeah. And, I guess you attract a mess.
And Tracy, now I've never heard this before, but Angels by Tsunami says you can put it in the sink with a bay leaf with love.
Yes. So she was actually I'm sorry, Nami is a family friend, and he was on one of our podcasts, on one of my podcasts. And he's incredible. He knew me before I was even born. He grew up with my parents, and he's got a beautiful journey, a tough journey, but a beautiful journey. And he's also a medium and a psychic. So he has a wisdom of knowledge, and that information is invaluable right now, because I didn't know that. You can put it in a, you know, with the bay leaf. And I love that because I don't have a fireplace. So I will probably start doing that a little bit, but the whole, you know, the whole thing with the mirror, I'm really trying to, not be hard on myself about that because, you know, the choices that we make, and we've all put up with so much from people over the years that we never should have. You know, sometimes it just, and people, the more you allow that, the more it happens. So you need to be able to, especially, I would say when you're in the beginning stages of healing, you have to set some really, really tough boundaries. And it's going to piss a lot of people off. And it's going to, but you know, you have to do it for you. And that's where I was saying some people might fall off. You know, you might outgrow people. You know, your lives just might go in different directions. You know, you don't wish them harm or you know, wish them well, and that's it. But you have to, especially in the beginning, you have to set firm boundaries. And I think it's really important to identify when you're in these beginning stages of healing, to really figure out what you need. Do you need complete silence? Do you need to spend a month completely alone? What do you need? And you've got to stick by that, because that's, you know, where your mental health, you know, you have to do what you have to do. These outside distractions can delay the healing for you.
Yeah.
So
indeed. And Tsunami says, putting your own oxygen mask on first. You know, I heard a flight attendant say, okay, if the oxygen comes down, put it on a child near you or somebody who is acting like a child. And that got a big laugh. But that's the thing, is you take care of other people, and then you can take care of yourself. By the way, Tsunami, say hello to my dad. He's on the other side. If you're meeting him, say hello to him, because this show is dedicated to him and his legacy. So thank you.
Yeah, and I love that he said that, because I was just going to say, Tracy, is it fair to say that when you make the decision within yourself that you're going to put yourself forward for your best interest instead of the focus on others, that it's almost easier to set those boundaries, because you remember that if you don't do it for you, you can't put it out?
Yeah, and you can even, like, you know, when I first started my journey 5 years ago, I was very quiet about it. I'm like a very private, even though my whole life is broadcast all over the internet now.
How private could you be?
Yeah, the whole world knows about my story now, but I'm a very private person. And so nobody really knew about, you know, that I was starting this, because I just needed to do it for myself. But I also don't have kids that I have to take care of. I've got my fur babies. So it was a lot easier for me. There's people, you know, that have children they have to take care of, or, you know, whatever your commitments are, you know, you've got to just figure out a way to juggle that and put time for yourself. I was able to just worry about me and be the selfish person that I needed to be at that time. And I didn't even know what boundaries I needed to set. But as I started along the healing journey, they became very clear to me. We were talking about our guides and things like that. And Nami knows some of my guides, actually. And and when we were talking about that, they would come to me. So I'm like, okay, I need to distance myself from this. I need to, you know, decompress from this. This person's not good for me right now, you know, whatever it is. And once I started getting further and more confident that I was starting to heal, I would start sharing little bits with people. And just say, you know, I'm sorry, I haven't gotten back to you. I've just got some things going on. And I had to say no. You know, there were people that would reach out that needed help for something. And there were times I would have to say no. And it's okay to say no, because you have to put yourself first.
The word selfish is a word that doesn't serve us, I don't think, because you're not being selfish, because you needed to take the time because you love yourself and you needed to give yourself that love before you can give it to anybody else. Do you agree with that?
Well, I was learning to love myself.
Yes.
It's almost like you were selfless with yourself, not necessarily selfish.
Yeah. And I don't look at like saying like selfish. I don't look at it as in a negative context. Yeah. I don't think, because I was really like, okay, I need to love myself because nobody else is going to, and I'm never going to have that love that I want because I need to be that for myself and I need to be that person. So I was learning that because I was just so insecure and I just didn't know my worth and I didn't know like what true values were and things like that. So I think it's okay to not know. It'll come to you as your start. Because boy, did it come not to me hard. When I was about a month into meditating, and you guys know how frustrating meditation can be, but I had this breakthrough and it came down hard. And that whole following week, I just needed silence. And I just kind of had to distance myself from the world. And so I'm like, okay, this is what I need to do right now. And then as I slowly started coming out of it, I would start, everybody's journey is going to be different, but I want everybody to know that it's okay. Like that's part of the being brave, setting those boundaries and doing that as part of being brave to like get that strength that you need to, figure out what you need and who you are.
Yeah. And I know we need to take a quick break, but that you said something that Kevin told me that changed who I was at a center is when he told me it's okay for things to be the way they are. And it's also okay to allow change. That change is really what stumps half of us in that journey. And then we stop. So thank you, Kevin, for bringing that into my perspective.
Dang, I had no idea I was that smart. That's pretty good right there. We need to take this quick break and we will be right back. More with
Tracy Smaldino. Find her on social media at Trauma Rockstars, and we'll be back.
You do that so well. I'm so proud of you.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
Are you looking for your daily dose of inspiration? Stay connected to all your favorite shows, music, and news with the Brushwood Media Network app. From Positive Talk Radio to Greatest Vibes Unplugged and so many more uplifting voices around the world, everything you need is right in one place. It's easy to use, too. Always available and designed to keep you inspired 24 hours a day. Go to brushwoodmedianetwork.com and download the app, and you will always have Brushwood Media available on your smartphone. Download it now and make inspiration and music and conversation part of your everyday. And welcome back to Positive Talk. My name is Kevin, and Brachelle's right there. And Tracy, I gotta tell you that oftentimes we do not have people telling us great things, and it's nice when you have somebody who believes in you and is so proud of what you've come a long way, and that you've done some extraordinary things. That is, it makes your heart all gushy inside, isn't it?
It's so funny. Rochelle, I do want to comment about the change thing, but it's funny you're mentioning that, Kevin, because in one of my therapy sessions after my MDMA, it was during my MDMA, because I was, when you're going through, I was laying on, it was like a, treatment, like a beautiful bed in this beautiful dimmed room with lights. And I was all in a cozy blanket. And so my therapist, Allie, I gave her my journal. So this is my current journal. I gave her my journal and I'm like, please write down whatever I say. And, or whatever, just take some bullet points, notes in case I don't. And we also recorded it. So I have the full thing, the whole thing recorded, but, it was about a week after I was reading back on what she had wrote in there. And she's like, be proud of yourself. I'm proud of you. You are a miracle. And I was like, you're right. Like I am a miracle. I am a miracle and I am proud of myself. And so sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, you know what? You're a badass. And we all owe that to ourselves to have those like moments where we're like, you know what? I am like, I have come through, it's not about the everyday journey. Like look at the big picture now of how far I've come. And when you were talking about change, Rochelle, I think that's the one thing where people get so complacent in their lives and people it's very scary and to face these things. And people are afraid of change because, everybody, like I said, gets complacent with their life, their everyday activity. And I think the change is that's where the magic happens. That's like the secret sauce.
Yes. That's true.
I love secret sauce, but
I had a feeling.
Well, it's crazy because me and Kevin were just talking about how you do the work and then before you know it, even after just like in a week, in a month, in 6 months, and you're like, whoa, like you can see all the rhythms you went through and how you worked through it. You can take it into what you're doing past that. Kevin's watched quite the journey with me, so it's really cool.
It is remarkable to see. And, Tracy, one of the things that most of us do not do is we don't look in the mirror and don't say, you're really special. I really love you. And you are a rock star in your own right. Because then we turn around and go, oh, no, I can't say that. That would be self-centered of me. And my dad told me when I was young, never to be self-centered. So I can't say that to myself. But until you do, you can't make meaningful change. Is that right?
Yeah, you can. And to be able to look at yourself. And that's why I was talking the last episode about journaling in the mirror, because you're talking back to yourself. And it's like I said, it's almost like a mini therapy sesh. And to do that, to be able to look at yourself and say, I love you. I'm proud of you. You're amazing. You've overcome so much. That's not conceited. That's giving yourself the love so that that beautiful love can be reflected out to the rest of the world and everybody else in your life. That's not conceit at all.
Oh boy. Why are you laughing?
Well, I'm going to go to Samuel in just a second, but this gentleman that
Oh, hi, Dad.
John Candy said, I like me. That was the best part. And this is a fun episode. I gotta tell you, young lady, you can draw a crowd. And
it's true.
John Candy, there's a documentary out on him right now, and it's called I Like Me. I think it's on Netflix.
Oh, cool. Well, and there's a plug for Netflix. They got to go there and they got to get that. And Rochelle, would you like to read what Samuel says?
Yes. Hello, Samuel. He's joining us in from Kenya. He says, greetings, my brother Kevin, my younger sister Rochelle, and guest sister Tracy. Receives greetings from Kabiri Restoring Hope Center, based in the slums of Nairobi, Kenya. We are watching you live with my team. God bless Positive Talk Radio Show, our favorite program for highlighting our weekly feeding program, No Child Goes to Bed Hungry. Thank you for joining us in, Samuel. We love you, and we hope that you're being able to take bullet points from this to share in your community, in your world. Because like we talked before, Tracy, it doesn't matter who you are at all, in any way, shape, or form. If you're human, you go through things that need attention and work so that you can grow into the adult you're meant to be and you deserve to be. Would you agree with that?
Well, yes. And do I have to grow up though?
Not completely.
No.
Do I have to grow up? But yes, and that's so touching that he's messaging in from Kenya, because look at the platform. Like my very first guest, Timby, I don't know if you guys need to watch her episode. What she went through is beyond what any human being should ever have to go through in their life. She was from South Africa. I never would have met this woman if it wasn't for this platform. This is just so incredible that you were able to reach, and it's showing that we all are the same. All we want is love and respect, and to be cared for, and to care for ourselves. And Samuel, I'm so excited to meet you virtually. Thank you for writing in.
And I have to tell you, he is a trauma rock star, because he started his life on the streets of Kenya. The camp he's in now has 1.5 million people, and trauma there is such a big deal.
Yeah.
And this is so much fun because Tsunami says we are all connected, and which is so true. I firmly believe, and I've told this story before, but just real quick, I read Conversations with God years ago when I was beginning my spiritual journey. And Neil Donald Walsh wrote that book. I highly suggest that you get that book and read it, because he's having a conversation with God, and he's writing it all down on a yellow legal pad. He never expected anybody to see it ever. And it was on the New York Times bestseller list for 230 weeks. But in one point in there, God said to him, "We are all one." I read that and I put the book down. I'd never heard that before. That was a cataclysmic moment in my life, because I believe totally that we are all one, and that we are all connected, and we need to be kind to each other, because when we're kind to somebody else, guess what? We're being kind to ourselves.
I did about a month ago, I did a little challenge on my Facebook, and I was like, do something nice for a stranger today. I don't care if you give them a compliment, buy them a coffee, whatever. Just do something nice for a stranger today that's unexpected, whether you're in the grocery store line. And so many people were texting me like, I did this, I did that, and I did this, and I did that. And it was 5:00. And I'm like, oh crap, I haven't even done it yet. Because I put it out like first thing in the morning, and then I got busy with work, and then I was like, well, I need to go to the store anyway. And that's exactly what happened. I think there was a lady in produce, and I was like, I love your sweater, just anything, even the littlest things just brightens people up, and kindness wins, love wins.
Well, they reached out to you because they were happy that they did that. They're like, Tracy,
and it's contagious. It's contagious. Just, and now we're getting into the holidays, and it's harder than ever on people, being in the holidays. So we have to give them some grace and try to understand how hard this time can be for people too. And you never know what people are going through. And that's what I was saying, for all these years, everybody's like, oh, you've got this, bubbly, they used to call me Bubbles in school, because I had this bubbly personality, but it was just a front. Like, I really wasn't. And that saying, just because I carry it well doesn't mean it isn't heavy, is like, nobody looked at me like I could possibly have been going through anything, because I just always had this, guard up and this shield, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And you have to learn, like, when you're going through this journey, to be your authentic self. And it's scary, but it's amazing too.
And can I tell you something? Because of the work you've done and the person that you are, you now can be bubbly and happy and actually mean it.
Right. And it wasn't that I didn't mean it before. It was just because
there was a shield. You were shielding yourself from all of that stuff. And now that you've dealt with that stuff, now you can live authentically and real and honestly. And isn't that the most freeing feeling in the world?
It's so freeing because now, and then the people, like you said, the people you surround yourself with, it's like they really can see like those pieces of you, especially like Nami's known me my entire life. See pieces of you from before, but just like now it's just an elevated, better version, I guess, Yeah.
It's an evolutionary process that we are all going through. Some of us get there in this lifetime, some of us don't, and it doesn't matter because you will get it sooner or later. But it's great to talk to someone like you, isn't it, Rochelle? Because she gets it. And it is so empowering to other people to say, like in the movie When Harry Met Sally. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Rochelle probably wasn't born yet, but.
I do know. I have seen it.
Oh, good.
During the cafeteria scene, when she is faking an orgasm, and the lady down the row says, "I'll have what she's having," because of who you are. People want to have what you're having and what Rochelle's getting, and it is just so joyful to see. It really is. Thank
you. Yeah, it's been a lot of work, but it's also been very empowering because I've empowered myself now.
Everything that's worth having, it can be difficult to achieve, but when you're there and you're on your way. Rochelle is so different than she was 2 years ago, and she gets it now. She gets that she's on her way to being free, to being anything that she wants to be, and it isn't a facade. It is real and it is heartfelt, and I get that from you too.
It's an authentic acceptance. It's not, that is what it is, and I don't care. It's okay, that is, and that's okay. And I have to ask you, I know we need to take our last break, but I really, really would love for you to answer this when we come back. Why you would tell someone if they came to you and said, "You don't understand, it's too late for me. I'm too old to go through that work and try." What would you tell them? So save that for when we come back.
I was going to say something, but I won't. We'll have Tracy answer that when we come back. Not every song changes you, but the right ones do. At Greatest Vibes Unplugged, we share music that hits deeper, no filters, no noise, just pure sound with soul. This is your reminder that light still exists, and sometimes it sings. And remember, you can look up in the sky and see the stars, but still not see the light. And welcome back to Positive Talk. And by the way, Tracy is one who looks up in the sky, she sees the stars, and she does see the light.
I do.
You're so lucky.
I want to be like her. That's it. So anyway, Rochelle, go ahead and ask that question again.
Yeah. If somebody came to you, Tracy, and said, "I don't have time, I'm too old, or I don't know where to start," what would you tell them?
Well, first thing on the time is you don't have time not to, because you owe it to yourself. That's first of all. And second of all, the being too old, like I said, I started my journey 5 years ago. I wish I had done this in my 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever. But I'm not beating myself of that, because somebody said to me a couple months ago, and I'll never forget this: "You are the youngest you're ever going to be right now."
Yep.
So there's no better time than right now to do it. This is the youngest you're ever going to be. And when I wake up in the morning, I say, I'm very spiritual, but I also pray to God. And if you don't believe in God, that's fine too, but I do. And, and I always thank God for my youth. And I will continue to do that when I'm 90. I will thank God for my youth. Because I say the same prayer pretty much every morning, and God's probably like, can you come up with some new material? But I'm sure he's going to have a convo with me someday, but I always thank God for my youth, because I'm never going to be here again than where I am right now. So that's what I say. So really think about that, because you owe it to yourself. I don't care what age you are. It's never, ever, ever too late. And I know everybody says that, but it's not. And you can't afford not to do it, because you don't want to. Do you want to are you happy living like this? Are you authentically happy? Mm-hmm. And, really take a deep look at that. And yeah, it's scary, but the three of us, we've all done it. We've all been there. And I just think knowing there's a support system out there too, that people that can relate, that have been through this now, that we have these platforms and stuff like that, could help immensely.
Yeah. Well, your soul's always older than your body, if you believe that as well. So you never actually are old, if you think about it that way.
Yeah, that's so true.
Like Kevin.
That's so true.
He's like 20 still.
Yeah.
I feel my body is saying, no, you're not 20, but mentally I feel as young as I've ever felt in my entire life, because I'm living the life of my dreams. And I know that you are too, because the podcast that you do is so extraordinary. By the way, it's called Trauma Rock Stars, and it's an extraordinary expression of who you are, and you're giving back, which is the highest form of service that there is. And amen, and dreams do come true no matter how old you are. Mm-hmm. And one of the coolest the thing that I want everybody to recognize is, I've talked to a lot of hospice people. I've talked to a lot of end-of-life care people, and they tell me that the one thing that they always hear from people is, I regret. Mm-hmm. And it's at the end. Live your life without any regrets. That you can then, if you feel like if you're passionate about doing something, do it. If you want to start a podcast, do it. If you want to be a host on a radio show, do it. If you want to go serve the homeless, do it. Mm-hmm. Because giving service is the highest thing. And okay, I'll shut up now. Michelle?
But I'm with you though. I still feel so young, like I did when I was in my 20s, like mentally. And I really do, like people, I remember when you're in your 20s and you look at people that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, you're like, oh, they're old. But you don't realize you still, just because your body is aging doesn't mean that your mind is. And I still feel very youthful. And I will continue to feel that way. And I think a lot of it is from the healing, because that weight is leaving my body from all that tension. And, I still have tense days, of course, but, I think that's helping. And I'm like, okay, now if I can just sleep completely through the night, it'll be wonderful, because, I will get up at 2-3 in the morning, but, that's my next goal. I just want to sleep through the night, and that will help with my wrinkles.
I feel that. But isn't it so positively powerful to age, because you collect wisdom along the way? Like, that makes it seem quite exciting rather than diminishing at all.
Totally. And I'm like, if I knew then what I know now, like, for real though, for real, where would I be, this and that, but it's so taking that and moving forward every day with that knowledge and wisdom. And, Rochelle, you're a little bit younger than Kevin and I, but we can, you're wise beyond your years, because I wasn't in tune with this when I was your age. I wish I was. So now you can help your generation, and even people that are going to like me. I look at you and I'm like, wow, you're a badass. Like, you are inspiring me. And I'm so proud of your journey that you're going through right now with your life. Like I'm proud of you, and I just met you. And so age doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
Through me, you, and Kevin, we've all said that we get to look back at what was before. I couldn't imagine, even at my age now, to look back and not have ever tried to do this, not have ever tried to be better, not have ever accepted myself. Like, what would it be like if I hadn't just tried? And that alone, we all did that at different points in our life. And that's why we get to sit and have this conversation.
And what is that people say about, like, I'm afraid it won't work out. Well, what if it does?
What if it does? Yes.
when I was doing that,
imagine what that looks like. Manifest what that looks like, and that's what will happen.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. And by the way, Tracy, you know why we do this? We do this for comments like this. Rochelle, go ahead.
Kaiberia Restoring Hope Center says, this is very powerful conversation show. We have learned a real story of resilience and courage from Tracy. Thanks, Kevin and Burchelle, for hosting this favorite program, Positive Talk Radio Show. We team Restoring Hope Center we say thanks for highlighting our story of No Child Goes to Bed Hungry, our weekly feeding program in Restoring Hope Center in partnership with Sparrows Landing Global Incorporated. Kaiberia Slums, Nairobi, Kenya is tuned in. Positive Talk Radio Show. Oye! Is how I would pronounce that. And it is powerful.
Yeah.
But the thing that makes it so cool is that, Tracy, there's somebody, probably more than many somebodies, that are going to be listening to this show now or in the future. It could be 10 years from now. And they're going to take what we've talked about and what you've said to heart, and it's going to change their life. There is nothing more valuable than that in our existence, I don't believe.
And honestly, like, I was a mess, you guys. I was mentally, emotionally, physically a complete disaster. And if I can do it, you can do it. If Rochelle can do it, you can do it. If Kevin, we all, you just need to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And trust.
And trust.
Because if you trust the wisdom that is coming from within and is coming from your guides and from other sources, if you trust it and then work for it, wonderful manifestations will happen for you.
It will. And the journey, like, trust the journey, because it will open up a whole new world for you. And it some things will happen in really big bursts, and then some things will just happen in little tiny baby steps. But before you know it, like you said, you look back 6 months and you're like, holy crap, like, look what I did. Even a month. I look back at it, even a month ago, and I'm like, wow, like, look at what I've done in a month. So, be proud of that, like, every single day. And, there, again, I get all my material from people that are on the podcast. I am not this smart, but somebody on the podcast said, it's one day at a time. We sleep 8 hours if we're lucky, say 6 to 8 hours, and we have basically 16 hours to get it right. So just spend those 1 day at a time, 1 hour at a time. Just look at it like that. And before you know it, you've got all this growth that you've done.
Tracy, do you remember the Etch-a-Sketch?
Oh, of course.
I want you to, an Etch-a-Sketch, for people who don't know, is a little thing that's got wheel or knobs that you turn, and you can make things and writing and all that kind of stuff. I want you to get your mental Etch-a-Sketch, and then when you shake it, it'll all disappear. And I want you to get your mental Etch-a-Sketch out, and when you say to yourself, I'm not that smart, write it in that and then shake it and make it disappear, because you are too.
Yep.
Or even the prior day. Know that day doesn't have to set you back. It can be positive to maybe have felt that way and allow yourself to go through that. And when you wake up, you've got a whole new sketch available for you. You don't have to bring that with you with a negative stance.
Correct. And, sometimes you guys too, we have to sometimes take a couple steps backwards.
Yeah.
And that's okay because, that whole one step back, two step forwards, like that's happened to me since in the past 6 months, like that's happened to me quite a bit. And I've had days where I'm like, why am I regressing? Why am I taking a step back? I'm not. It's just the universe telling me I need to take a deeper look. I haven't looked deep enough or really gotten past whatever is happening at the moment. So it's just kind of like the universe telling you just to spend more time in that space where you need to really listen and do a little bit more work, and that's fine.
I got to tell you, we got to have this guy on the program. Would you tell Tsunami that he has to come here? Because he says, we love the magnetic sand here in Costa Rica. And then he says, from the Etch-a-Sketch. And then from Siberia, they are, they're, oh, hold on.
Buddy.
There, guys. I have made that audible for you that because they were applauding us and what we were doing. Rochelle, we've run out of time again.
I know this always happens. So
Kevin, I brought a prop for you though.
Okay.
I brought a prop for you because I thought you were going to be prepared.
Oh, Kevin, we're forgetting.
I know, I forgot.
I'll put something on my head.
This is actually my dog's. But it's broken. Yeah, you forgot to put on your Santa hat.
I told him we need to do it for 25 days of Christmas, but
it happens. Happens. But Tracy, we love you and we want you to come back often.
I love you guys.
If you will, because we have such a good time and we talk about such impactful things when you're here.
And I wanted to talk to you too about the writing, what you were talking about writing, and if you are familiar with automatic writing.
Very much so, yes.
Yeah. So that would be a fun conversation to talk about.
Yep, we need apparently we made him giggle.
Yeah, this is actually my dog's. He let me borrow it.
Oh, that's awfully nice of him. Yeah. That's awfully nice of him.
He's good that
way. And we have to get you one, Rochelle.
I'll put my headphone. Like I've got to have something. My Starbucks cup has Christmas colors. I'll just.
So again, Rochelle, tell us how that we can get a hold of Tracy and everything that she's doing.
Yes. Well, thank you, Tracy, for being on the show. If you guys want to find her, you can search her as Tracy Smaldino. She has @Trauma Rockstars on social media accounts if you want to find her there. She's got her books also on Amazon if you want to search those up.
No book yet.
Thank you so much.
No book yet. That's 2020.
Oh, yeah, no book yet. Okay, well,
2026.
When that happens, we're going to have you back. So everybody keep an eye out for that. I want to say thank you so much to everybody who's joined in and commented us through the show. It's been fantastic. We love you guys so much. And thank you, Tracy and Kevin, for being here with me today as well.
And Tracy, you get the last word. Anything that you'd like to tell our audience before we go?
Just, you know what? Go kick fear's ass, because everything's fear driven. And that's good. Like, life is scary, but you just go kick fear's butt. And you can do this and have like a wonderful holiday season. And I'm so grateful for you both to have me on.
Of course.
And we are going to make a T-shirt out of that saying.
Yes, we are.
You heard it here first.
Absolutely. So thank you so much. And Rochelle, as always, you're just phenomenal. And thank you everybody for participating. We've really had a good time today. Thank you all. Thank you for being part of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where stories inspire and voices remind us of what truly matters. May today's conversation give you hope, courage, and a reason to keep moving forward. And just remember, till next time, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got.